Okay, so a very good evening, guys. Can you all let me know if you all can hear me and see a screen? Yes. Can you? Nice, perfect. So today, guys, I don't hear the others, so I'll continue. Today, guys, is our fourth and the final free class for unit number one. So we had actually a free month. I missed one class. That is why this final one is also given for free. The class on Thursday, Lamai, was actually a paid one where we did unit number two. Guys, how many of you have got your tunes? Unit number two, yes. I have sent certain amount of unit number two tunes for those who paid the fees and registered. Can you just let me know if you got it? I think my connection was a little unstable, but yes. Did you all get the tunes, Lama? Unit number two? Yes. Got. Okay, that's right. So I think a few set of tunes were sent yesterday also. Some of you all should get it very, very soon. So on your end, Lamai, try and pay the fee early. The earlier you pay, the earlier the institute will get it couriered. Okay. Now, so just to let you know, once you pay the fees, Lamai, fill the registration form, then the tute will be sent. Okay. Right. So just to let you all know, Lamai, what we have done so far, right? So I think some of you all are a little confused. So listen carefully, Lamai, what we have done so far. I will arrange the recordings for you all, Lamai. I have to make accounts for all of you all on our website. We just have been very busy with the final seminar. These days, Lamai, I'm doing the final seminar for the 24 batch. So it has been very hectic there, Lamai. There's around 400 of students in that. So sorting all their website access and all of it. And they have exams in like 16 days, no, Lamai. So that's why we are prioritizing them a little. Within this week, we'll sort out your recordings and all. I got a lot of messages from you all also. I will respond to them soon as well. Okay. So, Lamai, just to make sure that you are not lost and you know what is happening, let me summarize. So, this is what we have done so far. Okay, so, listen carefully, Lamai, if you all are not very sure. So far, Lamai, we have started unit number one. Now, unit number one, when did we start? We started Lamai unit number one, that is called Introduction to Economics. We started this Lamai last month. So I told you all classes for October are free. So this is the last free class Lamai because I missed a class in October. So I'm doing that today. Okay. So for unit number one, so far we have done three classes. One, two, three. These three classes recordings are there on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. It is there. I have shared with you all also. After this class also, I will share. So today is the fourth class for unit number one. Today is the fourth class. When does unit number one classes happen? Saturday night. It's right now from around 7 to 9:30 p.m. When will I finish unit number one? The plan is to finish unit number one by the end of December, sorry, end of November or the first week of December. So we will have a few extra classes now. Now, especially towards the last week of this month, my 24 batch is done. No, they are doing their exams till. So then I am free. I will have a few extra sessions. And by around end of November or at least start of December, I will finish unit one. Clear? That is unit number one. We have done three classes. Today is the fourth one. Normal class is Saturday night. I will have a few extra classes. I will inform you all. Done. The first four classes, I did it for free. Today is the last one. From the next class onwards, my link will only be sent in the paid class group. It's not free anymore. It will be only sent in the paid class group. So whoever who pays the fees and registers, you will be added to a separate group, Lamai, and you will get access to our website. In the website, all the recordings are there. You will get access to that, and that is how it will be. Okay, that is unit number one, Lamai. Then also, I told you all, along with unit number one, you're learning unit number two with the first batch because I don't want you all to fall behind. That time every day you all are behind there in the first batch. No? So then when it comes to term exams and all of it, You all are a little behind. So what I will do for you all is, you will also join the Unit 2 class. With whom? With the first batch of students. Now, Unit 2 Lama is not connected to Unit number 1. So, Unit number 1 is a different unit. Unit 2 is a different unit. So, you can learn that parallel, no problem at all. So, when does this class happen? Unit 2 Lama is happening on Thursday night. Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m. So, you don't have to pay double Lama. If you pay the class fees for the month, you can come for both the classes. You don't have to pay it separately. Okay, so class fees is paid every month. So once you pay the class fees for November, you will come for the first session also, lesson 1, lesson 2 also you can come. You don't have to pay separately for 2. So then in terms of unit number 2, Lamai, here also I did 3 classes. 3 sessions I have done. Yes, my internet is a little slow. I'll have my camera off for a little. Okay. I did 3 classes. This 4th class only, Lamai, I did last Thursday. So 2 days ago, did y'all come, Lamai, last Thursday? Yes. Were most of y'all there? Last Thursday when I did unit number 2. So we started this topic called elasticity. Now, this, okay, the link was sent in the paid class group, 11. I'm not sure. I'll sort it out. Don't worry. Now, this class, you all would have shaped, understood, might have not got it very well also. Don't worry too much. So what I will do for y'all, within this week, the recordings for these class, I will sort it out, Lamai, through our website. So recordings of this is on my website. You will get access. So we have to create accounts for all of you all, Lamai, and give you all access. So give us a week because the seminar is happening these days. We are very busy with that. We will somehow sort that access for you. So then once you get access to the website, you will have the unit 1 recordings in a separate folder, unit 2 recordings in a separate folder. So then next Thursday, we have the 5th class. Unit number 2, my plan is somewhere around by the end of December or maybe by the mid of January, we will finish off unit number 2. That is the plan for now for unit number 2. So far, what have we done, Lamai? 3 classes for unit 1. Today is the 4th class. We've done 4 classes for unit 2. Next week is the 5th class. The tunes, once you all pay, tunes will be sent. Once you all pay, Lamai, there's a registration form to fill. Tunes will be then sent. And then recordings also, Lamai, will be available on our website. For our website, Lamai, you need a username and a password. So we will make that for you. And our admin will send you a message. Within this week, they will send you a message, Lamai. Once you get that message, you can log into the website and you can watch. Yes, Lamai, you can watch the recordings unlimited times until A-levels. No expiry date. The only thing is make sure that your account is not shared with any of else. Because if your account is now accessed in multiple different devices in different locations, then your account will get blocked. Otherwise, it is completely fine. So account access is given, Lamai, for unit number 1, for 1 person in 2 devices in the same location. So you can use your phone or maybe laptop, same location, 2 devices. So at home, phone and laptop. Fine, that's how it is done. Unit 1 will be separate, Lamai. I will give you all access, don't worry. Within this week, we will sort access for whatever units that you all don't have. Are there any questions, Lamai? So the class fee is 3,000 rupees a month. Every month, by the 10th of the month, Lamai, you have to pay the class fees and fill the registration form. Every month, you have to fill the registration form, Lamai. Only if you fill, the tunes for that month, recordings for that month will be sent. Clear? I just want to take 5 minutes just to make sure all of you all are clear of what is happening. Okay. Then today, Lamai, we will come to our 4th session of unit number 1. It's the 4th one. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay. How many of you all took some time, Lamai? Didn't get into one tutorial. We'll send it, Lamai. Most of you all, if you have filled the registration form, it would have been sent already. The last set of tunes, Lamai, if I'm not mistaken, went on Thursday. So if you have paid, I think by around Wednesday, your name would have been there in the Thursday's list. If you paid after that, my next set of tunes are going on Monday or Tuesday. Now, sometimes next week I might not be able to send tunes. Only on Monday I will be able to send tunes. So if you all are not yet registered, try and pay the fees by Monday so that I can sort your tunes out. Because after that, I might again send the week after that only. Okay. So now coming into where we stopped. How many of you all took some time to go through what we did? Yes, we did number one. Last week we did you all go through? You all remember? I'll put you all into some questions. We'll see if you all can understand, can handle it out. Okay. So remember, Lamai, what did we start? Last class, Lamai, we started off this topic called economic resources. What did we do? Economic resource. I told these are the resources that are limited in supply, no? And I told you there are four. What are the four? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Those are the four economic resources that is out there. Then what did we do, Lamai? We started with land. We discussed the characteristics. We talked about it. We finished that. Then what did we do? After that, Lamai, we moved into labor. We talked about the characteristics, right? This mobility, the labor force size. We talked about a few things then. ඊට පස්සේ ළමයි we went into capital. We talked about what is capital, what are the characteristics, ඒව ඔක්කොම කරා. Yes. If you have paid, yeah, October was a free class. If you paid for October, that will be transferred to November. New batch fee. Okay. Didn't get the second unit due. Did you fill the registration form for the second unit? The monthly fees form, not the 3 month form. 3 month form is a different one. There's a monthly registration form. I'll send it to you all in the group, Lama, if you all have not filled it yet. You will get it. So fill that. I will send the link. Okay. So then, capital. What is capital, Lama? And also, Lama, your tunes, Lama, the courier company will call before coming. Okay. So in the registration form, Lama, you all give two numbers. No? So usually they will call the first number. The first number doesn't answer, they might call the second number. So make sure Lama, you all answer the phone because they call to confirm if you're at home or not. Plus sometimes Lama, they have to come all the way. Sometimes no one is at home. So to get the directions and to confirm if you're at home, they will call before coming. You will get a message sometimes saying your order will be dispatched today. Did you all get a message like that? Those who got the tip? Did you all, before the tube came, did you all get a message, normal message from Citibank saying your ITU order is on the way or something? You all will get a message like that. So wait for that message and then please make sure Lama, you answer the phone and collect it. Because Lama, these courier companies also, Lama, they don't have one or two parcels. Lama. They have around 100, 200 parcels to deliver. Lama. So what happens is, sometimes if the person doesn't answer, they don't go to that place. Courier company are trouble, Lama, not easy to get all of that sorted. So on your end, try to answer. But in case you miss the call, Lama, call back. Call back and say, you missed the call. Then they will say, okay, I will bring it tomorrow. And by usually, if I courier today, Lamai, within 3 to 4 working days, it will go. So if working days are not weekends. So usually 3 to 4 working days. So sometimes if I courier today, tomorrow itself, you might get. Sometimes it might take like 3 to 4 days. If it has been more than a week, then let me know. That means something has gone wrong. If I have couriered and more than 7 days, something has gone wrong, then let me know. Otherwise, product, wait, it will come. But answer the phone. If you don't answer the phone, they won't come. Okay. Right. Then we went through capital level. That is also done. Capital is done. ඊට පස්සේ, remember Lamai, we went through the types of capital. Now I'm going to give you an explanation and I'm going to ask you Lamai to see whether you all revise. Which type of capital is this? Can you tell me what is the capital good type of capital that helps with Lamai the production and distribution of goods and services? What is the type? The type of capital that helps with the production and the distribution of goods and services. Is it fixed capital, circulating capital, economic overhead capital, social overhead capital? Which one? Quickly give an answer. What's the one that helps with the production and distribution? Muneka. Production and the distribution of goods. That is economic overhead capital. Then what is the capital that we usually call long-term tangible assets that you can continuously use in the production process for more than a year? What is that? The long-term capital you can continuously use for more than a year. What is the name for that? It's just to see whether you have revised and count. What is that? That is fixed capital. Mhm. Now, what is the capital? The knowledge, the skills, the experience that your labor has. That capital is called what? That's called human capital. No, the knowledge, the skills, the experience are that's human capital. Then what is the capital that helps with fulfilling a basic human need like education, healthcare? What is that capital? Helps with satisfying a basic human need. What capital? Is it social capital or social overhead capital? Which one? They're two different things. Which one satisfies the basic human need? Social overhead capital. Right. So most of you all gave me answers apart from like 5 or 10 people. So that means you have taken some time to revise. Good. Then now we'll come into this point. This small note that is there over here. Now, most of you all do accounting, or at least have done accounting for O levels. In accounting, we consider money as capital. If the owner invests money into the business, cash account debited, capital account credit. So money you consider it as capital. But in economics, now I remember, money is not capital. They teach you all that. Oh, they tell you I'll come next week. Do I do the second one? They do the first one. Did we do it last week? Yes. Okay, so okay. Then just to summarize, right? Some are saying we did. Okay, I'll just summarize quickly then. Okay. So we are saying Lamai. Okay, INT is no. Okay. So I am telling you all Lamai, money is not capital. Why? In economics, Lamai, how is capital defined? Capital is Lamai, the productive assets. The assets that help with what? That helps with converting inputs into outputs. Now, for example, my laptop here, Lamai. My laptop is helping me to do this class. My chair that is here is helping me to sit and teach you all. But money will not produce a good Nulama. My laptop is helping me produce this good. My table, my chair is helping me produce this good. Money doesn't convert any input into output Nulama. With money, I can't do a class. Money is, we say, not capital. Money is a medium of exchange. Money is used, Lama. With money, you can buy capital. You can give money and buy capital. That is what you call money. So money is not capital. Here, see, I am saying, Lama, money is not considered capital because it is not a productive resource. Productive resource means something that helps you in the production process, helps you convert inputs into outputs. Money doesn't do that, Lama. You can't make a t-shirt with money. Lama. So a t-shirt, you need a sewing machine. Then here I'm saying, while money can be used to buy capital, so I can use money to buy a laptop, to buy this chair that I am sitting. I can use money for that. But I can't do the class with money, Lavan. And here I'm saying it is the capital goods, such as machinery and tools, that is used to produce the good. So money merely facilitates trade, but it is not a productive reason. So money is a what, Lavan? Money is a medium of exchange. It's not capital. Money is a what? Medium of exchange. So any place, Lama, if you realize, remember, in economics, money, we don't consider it as capital because money is not a productive resource. With money, you can't make goods, no way. Money will only help you to buy capital. With money, you can buy a machine. The machine will only produce the good. So remember that. Easy one. Okay. Then, Lama, the second point. This is a bit of an advanced point. I want you all to think. Lamai, there is a relationship between savings, investment, and capital. Let me teach you. Lamai, can you all tell me? Now, in an economy, there are households, people like you and me. There are business firms. There is government. So all of those people, Lamai, save money. No? You all also save money. Businesses also, Lamai, from their profits, they don't give everything to the shareholders. No? Some of it they keep, retained profits. Business also save. Governments also save from the tax money that they get, They don't spend everything. Some they will save. Our government have no savings, but generally households, businesses, governments, all of them lavai save. Can you all tell me where do these savings go, lavai? Where do you all save your money? Where do you all save your money, lavai? කොහෙද දාන්නේ සල්ලි ටික? Where do you put? You put your money into a bank, right? Savings account or fixed deposit. Now, earlier, Tamailama, you will have a till or something. Now, till is fine. Body amounts. You won't save 100, 200,000 in a till. Usually, savings account or fixed deposit, that's what you will do. So, whoever who saves, business savings, household savings, it will go to the financial institutes. Financial institutes, the banks. Financial institutes. What do financial institutes, the banks, who get your money, what do they do with it, Lama? The money that banks get, what do they do with your money, Lama? What do they do, Lama? What do they do? Now, you're going and putting money, Lama, your savings account, ROI, what do you all do with it? What do the bank do with that money? Usually, they use that money for what, Lama? They also invest in certain stock exchange firms. They provide loans for people, right? They do different things. So we'll say they are giving loans. Lamai, they give loans for what purpose? For what purpose do they give loans? Usually businesses and all are taking loans for what? Why are they taking loans? To expand their business, to open a new branch, to buy a new vehicle for that business. All of that is called what, Lamai? That is called Munar. That is called investment. No? Firms take loans, Lamai, for investment. But what is investment? Investment is, Lamai, the creation of new capital. So why does a firm take a loan, Lamai? They will take a loan to expand their business, start a new factory, buy a new machine. That is why they take a loan. So loans go because of loans. What gets created? Now investments get created. When there is more and more investments happening in the country, Lamai, what do you think happens to the amount of capital in the country now? Firms are buying new machines from abroad. They are building factories. They are opening new branches. What happens to the amount of capital stock, the amount of capital in the country? Does it increase or does it decrease? Now, if firms are taking loans and investing and all, what happens? The capital stock starts to increase, right? Goes up. No? They are building new factories. They are buying new machines. So the capital in the country, what starts happening now? The capital in the country now starts to go up. Capital starts to increase. So there is a relationship between these levels. That's what we are trying to still here. So in a country, if there are savings, only then Lamai, capital will get created. That's what I'm trying to say. How? When people save, that money will go to the banks. Then banks will use that money and give loans to businesses around. Businesses who take those loans, what will they do? They will build factories, open a new branch, buy a new machine, and they will do that. So they are investing. When the businesses invest, the capital in the country will start to increase. And that is what I am saying, Lamai, in point number 2. So capital stock of a country is generated through investment. Capital is created through investment. Investments are generated through savings. How does investment come? Through saving. So then I'm saying there is a relationship among capital, investment, and savings. When people save, that will pass on to investment. Then under capital will start. There is a relationship. So then you can have a small read of that. Are those 2 points fine? Yeah, if you want, you can write those down. Those different things I scribble on the note, on the diploma. You can use colored pens and all of that and make nice. You'll have a sticky note, Lama. No? You'll have a nice set of sticky notes, girls at least. So use those sticky notes, Lama. Use some sticky notes, use some colored pens. Like I said, Lama, Your tute. So that's something that I strongly believe. I don't know about other teachers. Something I strongly believe, like, keep your tutes and all nicely, neatly. Whatever notes that you are writing in school, any school notes, not just economics. Only then, Lamai, you will feel like taking that tune and studying it. Otherwise, Lama, you don't feel like when you have like scribbled and done all nonsense. Then Lama, you don't feel like, oh man, you start hating the subject. That's why on my end also, I try my level best to nicely put it in a file and print it nicely and send. Even though it costs more, that's okay, Lama, because you're going to use it for 2 years. Completely fine. I don't care about the cost being a little high. I can actually Lama, print your tune for half the cost from another place. I know other places, other teachers print Lama, for half the cost. So if I'm spending 1,000 rupees to print your whole file, I can actually print it for my 500, just a few things, much cheaper, but I don't want to do that because that is something Lamai, that you all will then like and study Lamai. Because no point me trying to save cost if you are not studying. So get that done. Make your tunes colorful, not just econ Lamai. In general, all the things. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. See if you all can make a note of that until then. Give me a second. So the savings part again, right? So the savings part again is now there are savings. Households save. Households means people like you and me. From our salary, we save a part. Businesses also save. Governments also save. Where does the savings go? People save it in banks, financial institutions. When they save, banks use that money to give loans. Loans for what purpose? Investment purposes. When investments increase, the capital stock in the country, amount of capital in the country starts to go up. Right? That's the story. Now I will go in the fourth one. Entrepreneurship. Very easy. What is entrepreneurship? Land labor capital land labor capital. Can they work in isolation? Can they work alone? With land alone, can you produce anything? With labor alone, can you produce anything? Capital alone, can you produce anything? Ban ilaman. So there needs to be some fellow who puts all of this together. Ilaman. Can I do this class only with this laptop without myself? No. Can I only do this laptop with myself without the laptop? Bad. So only labor also can't, only capital also can't. So if you want to produce something, like all of this have to come together, no? So who puts that together? Under entrepreneurship. Who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is the person who combines all the factors of love. He is the one who brings everyone together. And what does he do? He organizes the factors of production. Yeah. And he makes policy decisions. We'll talk a little bit about entrepreneurship today, right? I'll give you all some life advice also. And what does he do, Laban? He takes a risk. Because why, Laban? If you take land, labor, capital, they are guaranteed of a return. If you give land, you will get rent. If you provide labor, you will get wages. Provide capital, you will get interest. If you provide entrepreneurship, what is the return for entrepreneurship? What do you get in return for being an entrepreneur? What's the return called? Return from land, rent, labor, wages, capital, interest, entrepreneurship. What's the return? Profit, no? Profit. But are you guaranteed of a profit, Lavan? Just because you start a business and you're an entrepreneur, definitely profit tenor. Hamadama profit tenor. No, no. That's why we say, Lamai. Okay, I'll have my this one off a bit. That's why we say, Lamai. Munada. That's why we say entrepreneurs bear a risk. They are not guaranteed of a profit, Lamai. Sometimes profit when not pulwang, sometimes loss when not pulwang. So be a little careful. Then the functions of an entrepreneur. What does an entrepreneur do? What are his functions? Yes. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I guess my sisters are using the Wi-Fi and this is why it's slow. Hold on. Let me call and tell them they are in the other room. Give me a second. These people are not using the Wi-Fi. I'm wondering why it's slow. Okay. So then It's peak time on Saturday evening. That's the case. Okay, so what are the functions performed by an entrepreneur, Laman? What does an entrepreneur do? Number one, he mobilizes the factors of production. What does mobilizing the factors of production mean? Mobilizing the factors of production means, Laman, he brings all the factors of production together, gets everyone together, mobilizes them. And what does he do? He engages in the policy decision making. What is policy decision making? Those are the big decisions now. May policy decision making is not like what time you have to come to work, or how many leaves do you get to take. Anyway, policy decision making are the big decisions, right? Let's say what products are we going to produce? Which market are we going to cater? Right? Are we going to expand into a new factory? That is what you call now policy. This is the big decisions. So that is one function. What else does he do? He organizes Lava. So he gets everyone together and he tells, okay, you have to do this. You have to get this done. You look at this. He organizes the production. Number two, that is. Then what is number three? An entrepreneur also comes up with another level. He comes up with innovations, comes up with new things. No, හැමදාම එකම දේ කරන්නේ නැහැ. Entrepreneur thinks of new things. Now, on my side also, Lama, in terms of my classes, every time I also try to do better than what I did last year. That's what I try to do now. I'm personally not a person who likes to compete with other people. That is not my thing now. I don't care what other tuition teachers are doing. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I do what I like to do. Now, a lot of people, some of you all have asked me, sir, why don't you do a physical class? So I told you, I don't do a physical class because I also have a full-time job. I work as an economist as well. So my job itself is doing econ-related work. So I do exchange rate forecasting, inflation forecasting. We do presentations of plans, write reports. It's a very interesting one. And it helps me to teach also because I do that. I know what is happening in the country. I can bring that to my real world teach. So I don't want to give up on that. So it's very nice. I'm very happy with that. They are very flexible also. Nice firm. So I'm working there. I'm doing that. So I don't have the time to do a physical. But I know if I do a physical class, I can earn way more than my job. Maybe if I quit my job and let's say I start a physical class in an institute, a lot of institutes also have called. So why don't you come and start new batch එකට පටන් ගන්නකො? I have said, okay, later, we'll see it, not right now. So I have not done. Why don't I do that, Naman? Because in terms of life, that's something George should also have in mind, Naman. You need to be happy with what you do. It doesn't always have to be, Naman. You don't have to always do something for the money out of it. And you don't have to always compete with someone else now. I don't want to compete with another econ teacher and have more students than him. That is not me. But I always try to do is now do better than my last time. So in terms of what I'm teaching, my tunes, how I print it, how I give the recordings. So I remember my 2020 batch. That was my first big batch. 2026 no yola. 2020 was my first big batch. For those people, I remember my tute, my unit one tute, it was a small 20-page tute. From the teacher's guide, I took some things and small 20-page tute. That also I sent only a PDF. That is it. A small 20-page PDF I sent them. That's the tute for 2020. So then from there onwards, every year, little by little, you develop. Continuous development. Now, if right now, Lama, 6 years later also, if I'm giving a 20-page PDF tute for you all, I might not be very successful. So your goal has to be come up with innovation, do better than what you did, Lama. Little by now, maybe 3-4 years later, Lama, my class might be different. Right? Maybe it's very different. So maybe if your sisters or someone learn from, you would have realized the tunes that they would have got is different than the tunes that you all are getting. So little by little, it gets better. 3-4 years later, maybe if you have younger siblings, if they ever come to my class, maybe it will be way better than. No. So that's coming up with innovation, Lama, and doing what? And learning from your own self. So always, Lama, even in your school, your competition has to be with you, Lama. Don't try to put anyone else down and if you got this much amount of marks in this term exam, your next target is next term I will do better than this. That is your target. Next term is I want to beat this person. I will somehow pass this person and get better. Because when you start comparing yourself, There's always someone better than you. You will never be happy in life the moment you start comparing. Now, right now, okay, let's say I'm earning, let's say 200,000. Now I say, okay, I see a friend who is earning 300,000. And like, I am earning 200, he's earning 300. I say, okay, I also somehow want to get 300. Then once I get 300,000 of income, then I'm like, there's another friend earning 500,000. So every time when you compete, lama, you will always find a fellow better than you. You will never be happy in life. You will die competing with someone else. Don't have to compete. You don't have to compete. You don't have to worry about anyone else. You do better than yourself. That's my life motto. So far has been going well, which I think is something that you all should also have now. Have a nice, clean heart, no hatred, no putting anyone down. Do what you do. And then the final function is what, Lamai? Risk bearing. Bearing a risk. So those are the four functions. They ask that Lamai very commonly in your papers. Okay, then coming into a few characteristics of an entrepreneur. These are very easy, Lamai. Entrepreneur is a human factor. Living person, human factor. He is a generating force. What is generating force? He is the one who starts the thing. Generate karanne. He is the one who starts and says, come, come, let's get this done. He's the one who puts everything together. That's that. Then he successfully faces challenges. An entrepreneur faces challenges, successfully gets better. He has leadership qualities. He has a future vision, belief in self. Now, some of you all have that, Nilama. Some of you all, how many of you all are this thing, Lama? I am personally a person who has very low self-confidence, Lama. I don't know. That's maybe how I built. Maybe I'm always doubting myself. I always feel, I could have done better. Some people are opposite, Lama. Some people are overconfident. I have a few students, Lama, some friends, students, anyway, friends. When you ask, when after the term exam, Lama, you ask how is the paper? The fellow says, look here, uh, you Mara easy paper, very easy. I did so well. Marks come, the fellow has 40 or 50. That is overconfident. That is also bad. Having no self-confidence, that is also bad. I am in the bit of a low self-confidence. That is also, I'm saying, bad love. You have to be confident about what you are doing. You need to believe in yourself, love. So, in terms of your A levels, you need to believe that you can get into the, let's say, top 100 in the island, top 200 in the island. People who come among the top 100, 200 are ordinary people. My teachers told me that. I am telling you that. I am telling you that not because my teachers told you. I am telling you that Lama, because I am living experience out there. I know what I did during A levels now. I did not do any miracles. If I can just do my normal thing, if I can just do my normal thing and Lama, come among the top 50 in the island, there are 100,000 commerce students now. I did not do anything crazy. I just went to school. My classes were on Saturday, Sunday. Saturday we had three classes, theory. Sunday theory, Saturday revision. The second year. First year only three classes only on Sunday. Second year in revision also starts. Then Saturday and Sunday, three classes, three classes. So weekdays now I am at home. I go to school, I come, I have a nice nap. I do, let's say, a bit of work. Not much of work now. I nicely sleep. I'm always on my phone also. Then I promise next day morning I will wake up and study here. That also doesn't happen. Wake up and run to school. That's how usually my school life went now. But still I got it done. No? I was a prefect at school, big matches, this thing, that thing, club, societies, everything was there. But you still can get things done now. So just normal, ordinary people. These are not people with crazy brains and who are studying 24/7. I never love it. And I don't want you to be that person also. I don't want you to study 24/7 now. Because in life, life is not just A level. It's much more. So be confident now. You can get there. Whoever who becomes the first in the island, whoever who Lamai does this exam are people just like you. Remember that. So have that belief in self. You don't have to be overconfident. Don't be very low of your confidence also. Be humble, but be confident. You can get this done. That attitude has to be there. Then room for thinking, creativity. An entrepreneur identifies opportunities, positive thinking. That's all something you all don't have. Sometimes I'm a negative. One small thing goes wrong, you start overthinking. What if this happens? What if that happens? Don't worry, man. And that's something that I feel I have a little good at. I'm someone who doesn't worry too much about anything. If I can't control it, I don't worry for it. I'm not saying my life is the most perfect life. I also have so much of problems. But if I can't control it, like, no point in me worrying about it. If I can do something about it, then I will do. If there's nothing I can do about it, no point me being sad and worrying. I'll just let it go. I don't think. So that's something you should have. And then flexibility. Have a lot of nice things. Okay, done. Then this one. Difference between entrepreneurship and the other factors of production. Now, another common essay question that comes in your view. So I have identified now four differences. Okay, what are the differences? Now, an entrepreneur combines the factors of production. He puts everything together. But the other factors, they don't do that. Other factors are simply employed in the production because they come and work for him. He is the one who puts everything together. Others are just, especially labor, they are just working under the entrepreneur. That is one difference. There's a second difference. An entrepreneur bears a risk. When you are an entrepreneur, you might earn a profit or you might make a loss. Profit tag loss tag. You have a risk. But other factors, they are definitely getting their return. If you provide labor, you will get your salary. End of the month, you will somehow get. You provide capital, you will get interest. Provide land, you will get rent. But an entrepreneur, he is not guaranteed. Sometimes can be a profit, sometimes can be a loss. Yes, did you all, anyone saw recently I shared something? I started a small side business now. Side business, something that I'm very passionate about. Did you all see anything on my state? Something else apart from these? Not my office, sir. You know? I don't know if I have saved all of your contacts for you all to see. So I started a small online bookstore with a couple of my friends. I started an online bookstore. So yes, I have to start saving all the numbers now. I'll save little by little. Like so much of numbers, very hard to save now. So once you all fill the registration form, from that I can look and save. So I started a small online bookstore. I don't have experience in selling books or anything, but that's something I like now. I don't know if it will become a profit or a loss. So we found some contacts from abroad, how to import it and all. We figured it out. We made one of my friends know how to make websites. I know how to design and stuff like that. And also we usually sell it at much lower prices than all other websites out there. So we checked all the other these things. Our usually prices are much lower. And then we launched now. This was a learning thing now for me. Now we imported around 100 books. We imported like 100 books, and we launched the website. And then we said, okay, if you all buy, go to the website and buy. Now the problem, now we thought, it will take around 2-3 months to sell those books. We took the 100 books, with around 3-4 days from the 100 books, around 85 to 90 books are over now. In 3-4 days now. The website is this. I'll share maybe if you can just go and check. It's called allbook.l. Allbook.l. So what happened now? After launching the website, see 2 or 3 days books are over now. Now the problem is now we are importing now my sea cargo for the books to come and all of that. Now it takes around 5 weeks now. So now whatever books we had sold out, we dispatched and finished. Now the problem is after 1 week of launching the bookstore, we don't have books in the bookstore. Now we have put another order, but that order comes in now around 5 weeks it will take. That order comes somewhere around in the first week of December. So now these days we are just waiting, looking up and waiting. No books also. So nothing to market also, nothing to do. So the website is just there. Instagram, we are just sharing a few things and waiting. Nothing to do now. That's the problem. But see, all of those are what? Learning experiences, right? Who knew? Who knew that this would happen? So now we know, right? Okay, this takes 5 weeks to come, right? Then we know how to manage all this. So play around. I mean, that's something that I also want you all to do in life. You don't have to just simply do one job and always work 9 to 5 and no, no. That's what you're passionate about. Try things out. I'm also passionate about agriculture. I have not started anything yet, but I always like to have that greenhouse like concept. I like to do something like that. Maybe have a greenhouse, have some nice plants and all. Do something I would love. Still, I haven't found the time or the money or any of that. I think so. That's life, right? You just live only once. Very mind relaxing, exactly. So One day, hopefully, that all of you all will also get to a position to do what you like, love. And that's my biggest hope for all of you. It's not just the money. You will be happy with what you're doing. Then your life will be much nicer. It's not about, sometimes you might be earning so much of money, but you might hate your job. Does it make sense? You can't get that done. Okay, so bearing a risk. So, like my bookstore, we might make a profit, we might make loss. That's the right? So, there is a risk. Then the next one, an entrepreneur engages in policy decision making. He makes the main decisions. Others are simply following the decisions. They are implementing it. We make the main ones. Anit Katya, whatever we say, they will do. That is another difference. And then an entrepreneur comes up with innovations and inventions. Others don't do anything, right? Yeah. So those are a few differences. Then the next thing that I want to ask you is, now we talked about four factors. Now, do all countries have all factors equally? Like 25% land, 25%, if you take the total factors, is it equally distributed now? 25% land, 25% labor, 25% capital, 25% entrepreneurs. Able. Some countries have some resources more. Now, if you take this Australia, New Zealand, you all know in New Zealand, there are more cows than people. You all would have heard that name. The population of cows are more than the population of human beings in New Zealand. Cows are what? Land. And do you all know the population of, now, you all have seen it in the world map, the size of Australia. You have seen how big it is compared to Sri Lanka size. Do you all know how much is the population in Australia? Any guesses? Now, our population here is 22 million. Australia population, guess. Don't Google, just guess at them. Australia population is a very little more than us now. It's around 25 to 30 million. Think such a huge අපේ country බලන්න. This size. We have 22 million. Australia size ever. Such a huge country. I remember last time 26. I know. Just Google and see. Somewhere around there now. So for that huge country, that means they have so much of bare land. No? Yeah, අපේ country එකේම 22 million ඉන්නවා this size country. Imagine this size of Australia having only 26 million people. So that's, so countries like New Zealand, Australia, they have a lot of land. Land doesn't mean just the raw land. Natural resources, they have those. So they use those now. That's why New Zealand is good at milk production. They have a lot of cows, they use that. Then if you look at countries like China, India, what do they have? They have a lot of what? Yes, that's why they accept immigrants. China and India, they have the people, no? They have the labor. Highest populated countries in the world now. Who is the highest populated country now? China or India? Highest population is who? China or India? China was the highest populated. Now India has taken over, if I'm not mistaken. So now it's not China anymore. Now India is the highest populated country. It was China. I remember when we were small and all China. Now India has taken over. So they use their labor to get things done. Then what about countries like US, Japan? What do they have? USA, Japan, Australia, New Zealand had the land. India, China had the labor. US, Japan, what do they have? They have the capital, latest machinery, the latest technology, and they have that. Yeah. Then what does a country like Singapore have? They have the entrepreneurs. Now, do you all know in Sri Lanka, I know that's a problem. That's a problem with our education system also. Has your parents ever told you all, study hard so that you can start your own business? Have they ever told you something like that? All of our parents, what do they tell us? They tell us, study hard so you can find a good job, no? Study hard, then you can get a good job and you can. That's what they say. That's what my parents told me also. I don't. My parents are no different. Study hard. so that you can find a good job, then you don't have to suffer in the future. That is what they say. Study hard, correct? Study hard. But lamai, the problem is, the issue is lamai, in a country like Sri Lanka, we never encourage entrepreneurship. In Sri Lanka, out of 100 people, out of 100 people, only around lamai, 1 to 2 people become entrepreneurs. From 100 people, only like 1 to 2 people. So then here there is 50 people, close to 50 people in this class. Maybe only half of us will become entrepreneurs. In Singapore, lamai, out of 100 people, 30 people become entrepreneurs in Singapore based on their self. In our country, from 100 people, only 1 to 2 people become entrepreneurs. So why do you think Singapore is so developed? Now, Singapore is a very small country now, smaller than even Sri Lanka. I don't know the size now. In terms of labor and all, lamai, very low. They don't have land. We have forest, rivers. How did they develop so much? Somewhere around in 1970s, 1980s. You all know that. You all know. In 1970s, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, Sri Lanka was the second richest country in Asia. In 1970s, we were the second richest in terms of per capita GDP. We'll learn that lama unit number 5 per capita GDP. We were the second richest country in Asia, 1970s. Now we are a bankrupt country, don't have money to repay our foreign loans. So we were second to whom, lama? Who do you think was the richest? Asia, not the world, Asia. Who do you think was the richest? We were the second richest, not China, not India. Who was the richest? Asia. The richest country was Japan. They were the ones that had the highest per capita GDP than us. So we were only second to Japan. We had per capita GDPs more than China, more than India, more than Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Pakistan, whatever. Now look at us. 40 years ago also we are developing country. Now also we are developing country. Singapore, now they are a developed economy. Japan, developed economy. Api, developing economy. That's the problem, I think. So the politicians, the things that they do, all of that amazing. So the corruption, the bribery. So those are things like long-term it affects it. If you look at other countries, they keep on developing tataga. Our fellows have a so we are stuck. So this is the first time in terms of elections, the first time since independence that another part, apart from the main two, it's always between the UNP and the SLPP, UNP and the this one. It has been always going between them. Ranil, Chandrika, Mahinda, always it has been between them. There has been like break-offs from that party. So from UNP, Sajid breaks off. That's a different story. But always between those two people, right? Maru and Maruda, one fellow, another fellow, one fellow, another fellow. They keep on becoming president. That's how it has been happening. This is the first time that we have a new government. So we'll hope, right? So we only can hope. We don't know. So we'll hope that things would get better. Maybe 20, 30 years down the line, at least maybe our kids someday might have a really good life. We don't know. We can hope. Like if you take Singapore and all, within 10, 15 years, look at the development. Within the last, take the last 20 years, from 2000 to 2024, level of development. So maybe 20 years later, maybe we are a little too old then, but at least maybe our kids might have a very good country to live. Okay, so that's about that. So then, different countries have different levels of factors. Some countries a lot of land, some lot of labor. So then, these countries they use what they have, but with what they have, they try to develop now. So, US, Japan with their capital, Singapore with their entrepreneurship, they will get that done. That is that note over there. So you can have a three. Then the final part is on productivity. What witty? Productivity. What is productivity? Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say now, there are two firms, firm A and firm B. Firm A, firm B. We'll say both firms are producing t-shirts with them. Both firms are producing t-shirts. Yes, now this recording will be available. I'll make it available soon. Okay. So let's say firm A is producing 1,000 t-shirts. Firm B is producing 500 t-shirts. Who is more productive? A or B? A is producing 1,000 t-shirts. B is producing 500 t-shirts. Who is more productive? Looking at this number, it looks like A. Looking at this number, it looks like A. They are producing. What if I tell you, firm A is producing 1,000 t-shirts by hiring 100 people. Firm B is producing 50 t-shirts by hiring just 10 people. Does your answer change now? Who is more productive? First, I just told you 1,000 and 500. So remember, Lamai, productivity is not just your output. Productivity is, Lamai, the output per unit of input. So I'll summarize that. So what is productivity, Lamai? Productivity is the output generated per unit of input. So if you take firm A, they are producing 1,000 t-shirts, hiring 100 people. That means now per person, how many t-shirts are they producing? Per input, how much of output? What is their productivity, factor productivity? Per labor, key. 100 people are producing 1,000 t-shirts. That means one person is producing on average how much? 1,000 divided by 100. So their labor productivity is 10 lama. One person is producing 10. That's their productivity. Then firm B, what is their productivity? 10 people are producing 500 t-shirts. They are productive 500 divided by 10 here. That is a 50. So that's how you calculate productivity. So productivity is not just your output level. Just by looking at the 1,000 and the 500, you can't tell productivity. If you are looking at productivity, you have to look at the output per unit of input. So input can be machine, labor, anything is fine. So here I'm taking labor and you calculate. Well, why do you think firm B's productivity is higher than firm A? But now these are two garment manufacturing firms. In firm A, one person can produce only average 10 t-shirts. Firm B, one person is producing 50 t-shirts. Why? How? What could be the reasons? How did firm B have higher productivity? How come in firm B, one person can produce 50 while one person in firm A is producing only 10? Maybe, yes. Maybe firm B has the latest machines and all, no? Maybe, firm A has very old machines. So getting stuck and broken. Firm B, they might be having the latest technology now. So maybe that. Maybe firm B, they have very skilled employees. High levels of what? High levels of human capital, knowledge, experience. People are very fast. Firm A, some old fellows or some very small kids, no experience. Maybe that. Human capital. Then, can you make these management methods? So maybe, in firm B, they have better management methods. The employees are getting very motivated. The bosses are motivating the employees. They are giving them bonuses. So very good management method. That's why they are very efficient. Maybe in firm B, they are practicing division of labor and specialization. They have broke the production into small, small parts. People are very, very fast in what they are doing. Maybe that is why they are more productive. So these are the determinants of productivity. Why firm B could have been better than firm A? What could have been the reasons? The technology, the human capital, and all of that. Right. That is productivity. Is that okay? So, right. Then, right, with that being said, we are now done with a big part of the unit. Now we need to start a new topic. a new topic is what? Calculations, a few of it comes, not much though. Here and there they ask. I'll show you a calculation. Okay. So the next topic is on the basic economic problem. So today maybe we can finish these two pages. The economic system, we'll see. If I can start, I will start. But at least we'll finish off the basic economic problems. Do you all want a small break to walk around, get some water? Yeah. Others, I have equal no's, equal yeses. I will go with the majority. You all want a small break for 5 minutes? Okay, majority is yes. Okay, shall we take a small break until 8:05 just to walk around, get some water, run to the washroom? Sorry, 8:05, no, 8:10. Now it's 8:05. So take a break until 8:10, get some water and come. This next part is a new topic. Not very difficult, but interesting topic. Okay, so take a break. Okay, so we'll start now. We're now coming into a new topic that is the basic economic problems. So, what are these basic economic problems? Now, remember we talked about every economic system facing every economic system we said now faces scarcity. No, every economic system faces scarcity. They don't have unlimited resources. No, the resources that we have are comparatively limited. So in a situation like this, we can't do whatever we want to. When we have limited amount of resources, we can't do whatever we want. Neither. So therefore, every economic system, because of scarcity, and because these scarce resources have alternative users, what should they do, Lavai? They have to make three different choices. There are three questions that they have to answer, Lavai. What are the three questions? First, the economy has to decide, Lavai, what are they going to produce in what quantity? Because they can't produce everything, Lavai. If you take Sri Lanka as a country, we have a what? We have a limited amount of land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. We don't have, let's say, the resources to produce a rocket or go to the moon. We might not have them. So we have to decide with the resources we have, what are we going to produce? That is the first question now. The first basic economic problem is what? What to produce in what quantity? And now let's say you decided, all right, we are going to do that. Now you have decided how to produce this. කොහොමද හදන්නේ? Let's say we decide, okay, we are going to build schools. We are going to do this. Now, how are we going to make it? We have decided that. Then let's say we made the goodwill. Now we have decided, how are we going to give it to? Whom are we going to give it to? Who to produce? Whatever that we produce now, who is going to get this? We have decided that as well. Those are the three problems. So we'll go through these one by one in detail. So summary again, if you're joined late, every economic system, because of scarcity and alternative uses, they have to make three choices. Those three choices are common to any economy. Not Sri Lanka only or India only. Everyone, it's common. So what are those three choices or three problems? That's called the basic economic problems. What to produce in what quantity, how to produce, and who to produce. Now we'll go through these three in detail. One by one, we'll conduct both. So we'll start with what to produce in what quantity. Very easy level, nothing hard. So you know what is this? What to produce in what quantity? So here's I am saying, due to scarcity of resources and alternative users, any economic system would face the basic problem of what to produce in what quantity. So look here, example. It has to be decided which goods have to be produced. Whether to construct hospitals or schools. Should we build hospitals or schools? Do we make factories or playgrounds? Do we produce consumer goods or capital goods? So you have to decide now because you might not have the resource to do everything. So do you produce this or this, this or this? You have to make a decision. Then once you decide what to produce, then how much? Let's say you decide, okay, we are going to build hospitals. Then how many hospitals? How many factories? How many capital goods? So that's the first decision, Lavai. Every economic system has to ask. They have to decide what to produce in what quantity because they don't have the resources to produce everything. We don't have the resources. So we have to decide, we have to figure out what are we going to produce in what quantity. Then here I'm saying, Labai. So in this way, resources should be allocated after deciding what to produce in what quantity. Also, when producing the desired goods in the decided quantity, it should be decided how many resources should be used for the present and how many should be left for the future. Now, let's say, for example, Lamai, we decided we are going to make furniture. That doesn't mean, Lamai, we cut down all the trees in the country and make the furniture, Lamai. So we have to preserve some trees also, no? So you got to be careful. I think you got to say, okay, how much of the resources will be used for this? How much will be used for the future? And here I'm saying, we'll leave the bracket. As the resources are distributed, after deciding what goods to be produced in what quantity, this problem is also known as the resource allocation problem. Can you all write that next to this line? What to produce in what quantity is also known as the resource allocation problem. How did that name come? Why is it called the resource allocation problem? Now, Lamai, if you take a country, we have a certain amount of land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So let's say we have 100 below in total, 100 resources. So we decided, okay, we are going to make buildings, make a playground, make a factory, build a school. 10 buildings, 5 playgrounds, this. So then you decide from these 100, how much is allocated to build a playground, building? How much is allocated for a playground? How much is allocated for a factory? How much should be allocated to make a school? That is what you call the resource allocation problem. You have your total resources. You decide what are you going to produce, and then you allocate your resources for this much, for this much. Now, I also do this, Lama, in terms of my time. In my time, I also can't do everything with my time, Lama. So I know, okay, I have office work. I have class work. And now I know class also not your batch, like 24 batch or 25 batch. There are so many things. So then right now, my time is a little limited. That's why I told you. So I am allocating more resources these days for my 24 students compared to all. I am giving them priority. So they are recording access. I am prioritizing and getting it done because they have exams now in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. They have exam. You have exams 2 years. So that's resource allocation now. Now my admin also, who is sorting your recordings, I told the admin, prioritize the 24 students. Because now if they are recording, then all get delayed. Hardly for them. You can catch up somehow. So that's, I have limited reason. Now next year I thought Lamai, from next January onwards, I'm going to have around at least one more admin. I realize one admin is not enough, Lamai, because we get so much of messages. I also get, admin also gets very hard to clear out. Sometimes entire day our admin is on the phone replying to messages. Think entire day, still reply to messages, still if the messages are not over. Think of the amount of messages that we are getting. That's the problem. So we're trying to see if we can do things a little different, because even the payment slip. So from next month, Lama, when you all pay your pay fees, you don't have to send the slip to me, Lama. You can directly send it to the admin and fill the registration form. That registration form is a must. So send it to the admin, fill the registration form. Because only if the registration form is filled, tunes will come, you will get recording access. You don't have to send it to me. If I want, I can check the registration form. Because now I just think if everyone sends the form payment slip to me, 24 batch again, there are 400 people in the finals. 25 batch again, roughly around 250 people. Now your batch again also, how many fellows now there is? New batch there is around 50 or somewhat. Old batch there is close to 100. So that's around 800 messages now that I will get within the first of the month, 10th of. Now, not easy now. It's not easy to reply to that amount of messages. You think it's an easy thing, it's crazy. For that reason, now, but I'm usually, I don't like a lot staying on my phone, and it's because it drives me crazy when you have so much of messages. I can never clear my message. Every time I clear it, new fellow comes, so much comes. So as usual, as a this thing also, I never tell. I'm not a very big fan of attention and all of it also. I don't know. You all might be different. So in terms of birthdays and all, I am completely fine even if people forget my birthday and no one wishes me also. I'm completely fine. I usually don't tell when my birthday is for students also. They also don't know. That's fine. Because if I tell them if I tell you all when my birthday is, then you all will feel no, we have to do something for the fellow. We'll at least wish the fellow. Imagine now 800 people sending me messages. 800 people have replied, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My whole birthday is gone now. So for that reason, I usually don't tell anyone. Not that uh, to anything else. Lamai. It's very difficult. Lamai. එහෙම කරන්න ගියාම I don't put any. Sometimes lamai even let's say what I share something. Sometimes I remember not that not that it's hard කියන එක නෙවෙයි. Like sometimes I let's say I put a status on WhatsApp. Now usually I don't put many. Usually now I only put, let's say, class related stuff. So usually sometimes I just put other memes and different things also. But then what happens, Lamai? Then so many people start replying, right? You put one meme within 1 hour, around 30 fellows have replied, Lamai. I have to reply for those who are not nice, then Lamai. If you all have replied to my, then now I have to reply to you, no? So එතකොට තමයි those and all very අමාරුයි ළමයි. Now sometimes when I'm in a class and so many people have replied, now I have to go back and spend half an hour to reply to all the messages. I try my level best to avoid all of that. So that's allocating my time ළමයි. So you have to give something. When is my birthday? You will never know. Hopefully you all don't find out. Right. So then that's the first problem to answer. What's the first problem? The resource allocation problem, or we call it the what to produce in what quantity. You can't do everything. So what should you do now? With your resources, you need to decide what are you going to produce in what quantity, and then you allocate your resources. And once you have answered that, then what do you do? Once you have decided what to produce in what quantity, ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද කරන්නේ? Now you have to decide how are you going to produce. කොහොමද ඒක හදන්නේ? So now if you decided, okay, I'm going to build a school, I'm going to do a class, I'm going to make some bread. Now how are you going to produce? You have to decide that. So that is the second question now. How to produce? You can't produce in the whatever way you want. No. There are limited resources. If labor is taken for this, there might not be labor for this day. If you use machines for this, there might not be machines for the other one. So you have to decide that now. So that is called the how to produce. So there are mainly two techniques now. Two production techniques. What are the two production techniques? One is called now labor intensive. Labor intensive production. What is labor intensive production now? Labor intensive production කියන්නේ where you use more labor than capital. Labor intensive doesn't mean 100% labor. Use more labor. Now, for example, if you take in Sri Lanka, let's say, can you give me some example now of production of certain goods? You use machines also, but the involvement of labor is more than the capital. That's called labor intensive. I'll give you one example, like your school's education in Sri Lanka. You look at your school, mainly it's labor, right? Teachers teaching, all of that. Take tea plucking. Most labor, right? You manually do and all of that. Multi like how weaving factories, the garment factories, mostly labor, no? So that's called labor intensive. What is labor intensive? You use more labor than capital. Then what is the other one, Lava? Other one is called capital intensive. Capital intensive can capital intensive is where you use more capital. Let's say the production of motor vehicles. My people are not manually doing. There is an assembly line, factories are moving. That's how it gets done, no? That's capital intensive. So in this how to produce, what you mainly have to do is, Lamal, you have to decide between one of this. Should we use a labor intensive technique or should we use a capital intensive technique? Yeah. So I am saying, due to scarcity of resources and alternative uses, every society would face the problem of how to produce as well. The basic problem of how to produce means which production technique, I told you there are two production techniques, which production technique should be used in producing goods and services. Also, it refers to Which resources are to be used in which proportion? How much are you going to use? Are you going to use 70% labor, 30% capital? How are you going to use? Yep. The two production techniques used to produce goods are labor intensive production and capital intensive production. Remember, what? Labor intensive doesn't mean 100% labor. It's more labor than capital. That's what labor intensive. Same with capital intensive. See, labor intensive production means uses more labor, relatively less capital. Capital intensive is using more capital and less labor. And then they are saying, as production must be carried out with the use of any production technique, the basic economic problem of how to produce is also identified as the problem of production. So can you write the other name for this number? In case in your exam, if they ask to explain problem of production, remember how to produce. Problem of production. So just to summarize, what did we do so far? I told you there are three economic problems. First one is what to produce in what cost. Once you decided what to produce, now you have to look at how are you going to produce. So I told you there are two production techniques, labor intensive, capital intensive, A deking ekak. You will have to select and you will have to get that. Okay. Then let's say now we produce the goods. Now we have decided how are we going to distribute it? Who is going to get these now? Let's say we made, 100 loaves of bread. We made 50 schools. Who is going to get these now? Or let's say we made, five vehicles. Who is going to get this? That is what you have, the whom to produce question now. So whom to produce question, yes, it's also known as what? The problem of distribution. How are you going to distribute it? Alright, can you tell me this? And this is a little bit more complex than the others. Can you tell me, Naman? Now, if you take Sri Lanka as a country, we have produced certain amount of goods and services, rice, electronics, there are goods. Can you all tell me, Naman, from the total production, some of it you all have got, no, your household has got, your family has got. Naman, the amount of goods and services your family gets depends on your family's what? Depends on your family's what? From the total amount of goods and services in the country, the amount that you can get depends on your family's what level. What do you all think? Now, how come? Okay, let's say for example, Lama, your family has so much of luxury items and this much and stuff. Another family has very little of that. How come you all had more, Lama? It depends on your what. Your family is what. The amount of goods and services in the country. From that, the amount that you get depends on your what, Lama, yahan. Depends on your what? Depends on your income, right? Depends on your income, yahan. Your what? Your factor income. Your total income, yahan. Your factor income. How much of income you all are getting. If you all are very rich people, have high levels of income, then you get a lot of goods. From the total goods the country has produced, if you're a rich person, you get a lot. Poor person earning 20,000, he gets a little. So the amount of goods you get depends on your what? Depends on your income. Then can you all tell me, Naman, what does your income depend? What does your family's income depend? Your family's income depends on, hey, your job, fine. What does it depend? Your family's income depends on the why. How much of factors of production you own and how much of it you exchange. So factors of production owned and exchanged multiplied by the factor price. Let me explain that. Now, Most of you all told me when I asked you what does your family's income or your depends on, you said job. That is the Sri Lankan mentality now. No, your family's income doesn't only have to depend on your job or doesn't only have to come from your labor now. So usually that is the problem in Sri Lankan families. Five people family, let's say father, mother, both are working. So they have, so okay, let's say they own two labor units. So small kids can't work, father, mother. But from that, not everyone is working. They own two labor, but only one father is working. So one labor they are exchanging in the market. Father is earning 100,000. So then from labor, you all are getting 100,000. Does any of you all have you all given like a house on rent or something? House sorry, house එකේ පොඩි කෑල්ලක් හරි. In our house now we have given a side of it for rent. Any of one like that? Maybe upstairs of your house you have given for rent or something even that. Have no. So then you are getting money from that also, renting. That is capital, no? So you all have one house, you have given that for rent, capital. So let's say from that you all are getting 50,000. Okay. 100,000, 50,000. Does any of you all have your own side businesses? You or your father, apart from his main job, does he have anything else? His main job is this, but when a Mokari also he has. He does like a part-time Mokakari, something he does. What is that? Entrepreneurship. Then you all are having like one entrepreneur. Then let's say he's earning 75,000 from that. Any of you all have a cow and given on rent? Given the cow nannies. Then that would be this one, that would be land. So if you add all of this, then you get lamai, the factor. So here, from labor, you all are earning 100,000. From the house you gave rent 50,000. From the side business your father is doing entrepreneurship 75,000. එතකොට ඒ ඔක්කොම දැම්මම ළමයි අන්න factor income 225,000. Yes, maybe when I do farming, yes, if I have a cow. So that's how lamai factor income or your household income is dependent on the number of factors you have and the price of that factor. The life lesson that I want you to take from this is lamai. Don't depend just on your labor. Someday, lamai, you all will start earning. Go to work, lamai. Go to work. You will get experience. You will learn how things work. But then, after a certain point, start thinking out of your labor. If you're only going to work in an office, lamai, you're always going to be stuck in the same level. Always middle class, basic family. I'll just give you an example. Have you all seen in Sri Lanka? There are these luxury vehicles near the lava. These Range Rovers, right? All of that. I don't know if you all own. Anyone knows roughly the price of a Range Rover and all of it? You'll just see a Range Rover price column. Range Rover pricing Sri Lanka. Become balance. This oops, click on add. Okay. So Range Rovers. So much of ads. No. Okay. Right. So this Range Rover is 93 million. 93,500,000. මෙතන තියෙනවා 96 million. මෙතන තියෙනවා 92 million. The next one. So there are 85 million, 115 million, 123 also is there. Like so 85, this ones, there is so many different ones at different prices. There is one for 123 million also. Now just think lamai. Now these are for sale කියන්නේ. There are people who can afford it no. There are so many. These are for sale. There are people to buy කියන එකනේ ළමයි. That's what it means, no? So then tell me, we'll take ළමයි 100 million කියමුකෝ. We'll take average. Okay. A Range Rover is 100 million. Now just think, for a month, okay, for a month, let's say ළමයි you all earn, let's say you earn 200,000 million. start again at 200,000 also amaru illa. Let's say you did a degree and your first job itself, you're earning 200,000. Okay. Every from the 200,000, you have your expenses also, illa. From that 200,000, let's say, illa, every month, I'm very being very optimistic here, right? You're saving 100,000. Can you tell me how many months do you have to save, illa, to buy this? You will have to save for like 100,000 also. I save karan amaru. Now, okay, we'll be more realistic. Your first job, lamai, when you start, you might, I feel now, when will you all start working? Let's say you all do a degree and all. I feel by that time, probably you might start earning maybe first job, maybe around 40, 50,000 you might get now. Let's say in like 5 years when you all start. From that 40, 50,000, lamai, you all have expenses. So then now, let's say from the 50,000, you save half of it, 25,000. Okay, never mind. Think of saving 100,000, just being very optimistic here. Save 100,000 a month. For a year, how much will you save? You save 100,000 a month. For a year, you will save 1.2 million. How much is the vehicle? 100 million. 1.2 million kiyanne lamai. Per year, you will save 1.2 million. So 100 million kiyanne lamai. You have to save for around 80 years. 80 years to buy a range. If you are saving 100,000 every month, even if you put a lease, you are pay the lease maybe. So not possible. By that time you are dead. So how do you think people can afford those things? No, I don't know. How do you think people can afford it? Because Lavai, their income is not only coming from their labor. That's what I want you all to learn in life as well. You might come, Lamai, you might come. So it's not about lamai. Econ is not about just learning theory විතරක් නෙවෙයි. You have to see how you can apply that to your real world, get successful someday. lamai. It's not about lamai just going to work and earning 100,000 and saving thing නෙවෙයි lamai. You will always be stuck in the middle class if so. If that is your thing. You don't have to be a person with so much of connections and your father has to be rich when known for you to get somewhere in life. I tell you, I come from a very basic middle class family. At a very basic, we never had a vehicle. Now only this year I bought the first vehicle. My father never had a vehicle, not a single bike, nothing. Just a normal basic house. I just bought this thing that also on a lease only. Every month now I'm paying little by little. I've got that. So you don't have to have any connections now. Your father doesn't have to have a friend to give you a job. So it's on your own. You need to start getting somewhere in life. And what I'm telling you here is when you're getting somewhere in life, Lamai, start thinking out of labor. Labor good. You can earn, Lamai. With your labor, you can earn. How? The people who are affording this Range Rover, 100 million, are not people who are only going to work and getting money. They have so much of other things now. They have so much of other things. Maybe they have building that they have given on rent. They have invested money in the share market that is earning some profits. Maybe they have other businesses that they have started, some entrepreneurial activities. All of that combined, tamai lamai, they are getting their money. Labor vitarak. So maybe when you all start working someday after A-levels, you all might start working. Good, labor, fine, no problem. Get the experience. But little by little, lamai, look at the others. See, how can you invest some of your savings? Learn how the share market works. Those lamai niga me course karanna ඕනේ නෑ. Study lamai, read on the internet, watch YouTube. Look at okay, what is happening in the cryptocurrency market. Now, cryptocurrencies lamai. Anyone who follows Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, anyone by any chance? So this cryptocurrency lamai, now I'll just it's very highly risky and all. Okay, nice. So one Bitcoin, if you roughly know, one Bitcoin last year was worth 15,000 US dollars. One Bitcoin. Now a Bitcoin is 75,000 US dollars last 2 3 days. So from last year to this year, it has in price has gone up by 5 times. It can go down also. It's very risky and all. So it has gone up. I never invested. I didn't have the money at that point. So it has gone up by 5 times now. So එතකොට ඔයා 1 million දාලා තිබ්බනම් if you had invested 1 million last year, now you have 5 million with you. 5 times more than what you invested. You put your money in a savings account, in general savings account. How much is the interest rate? 10%. 1 million දැම්මොත් you get 1.1 million in 1 year. මෙතන 1 million, 5 million. But it can happen the other way. Bitcoin 15,000 can go to 5,000 or then you have huge loss. But I'm saying now there are so much of ways that you can make money. So think out of that layer. Okay, that's general advice. What to do, whatever that you're passionate about. Lease, yeah, there are some that I got Islamic lease, fine, no problem. I have to, every month I have to pay a certain amount. So just to summarize that factor income part again, since one person wanted, what's that factor income story level? Factor income is your total income for your family. So total your family's income depends on what? Depends on number one, how much of factors of production you exchange in the market. Now, sometimes I might own 5 buildings. I own 5 buildings. But let's say none of it I have given on rent. Will I get an income from it then? It's not just the factors of production that you own. You might own 5 buildings. එකක්වත් rent වලට දීලා නැත්නම් if it's just paying, then you're not getting income. It's about how much you own and how much of it you exchange now. How much of it you actually give on rent. So let's say I own 5 buildings, I gave only 200. Then only from that 2 now I will get. That's why we are saying factors of production exchanged multiplied by the factor price. So per building, let's say I'm getting 100,000. I have 2 buildings. Then from the buildings, I'm getting 200,000. I have one labor. I'm going and working. I'm getting 200,000. One side business, entrepreneurship. I'm getting money from that. So all of that combined under your total factor income. So coming back to my point, this whom to produce question again. What is this whom to produce now? Whom to produce, I told you. Who gets the goods? In other words, from the total goods that the country has produced, how is it distributed? Kaata the yanne. How much will I get? How much will you get? How much will your next door neighbor get? So then I'm telling you, the amount of goods you get, how much you will get, depends on what? Depends on your factor income. How much of income you will have. Rich people will get a lot of goods. Poor people get a little goods. See, here I'm saying, the problem of whom to produce refers to among whom the total production of the economy is to be distributed. The total product, how are you going to distribute it? Which means who owns the limited amount of goods and services produced with the use of scarcity? Who will own them? The use of goods depends upon a person's income. Factor owners earn income in the form of wages, rent, interest, profit, all of that. The income gained by each person differs based on your factor ownership. In other words, how much of it do you exchange and the price paid for that factor. That's what I showed you on how much of factors of production you own and exchange. Not just the owning, more correct to say exchange. How much of it do you exchange and what is the price for? 2 buildings you gave on rent, per building 100,000. Then ethnic 200,000. You had 5, let's say your father and mother both are labor, but only father is going to work. Own 2, but only one is exchanged. So father goes to work, he earns money. So all of that combined is your total factor income. Then I'm saying a person who receives more factor income will have the chance of consuming more goods produced. Whoever who is having more income, he gets a higher chance. Then anithekya, a person who receives less factor income will have a less chance of consuming the goods produced. Correct? A rich person earning 1 million a month, the amount of money he gets and how much of goods he can buy is completely different from a person earning 50,000 a month. So in this way, the consumption of goods depends upon a person's income. The problem of whom to produce is also identified as the distribution problem. So just to summarize that, what is this whom to produce? Whom to produce means who gets the goods. Goods have been produced. Now, who is going to get? Then I told you, who gets the goods depends on who has the money based on their income. People who have a lot of money gets a lot of goods. Little money gets a little goods. That's the third. Is that okay? Fine. Shall we get into a few past paper questions just to see how these questions are asked? Yes, sir. And then we'll wrap it off. Economics is that's a whole new topic. I will not start that today. So we'll do a few questions. More answers you give, the faster we will finish. So give me answers, and then by around 9 we'll finish off. We should be able to finish. We'll start economic systems the next session. Don't have to rush for lice. Yeah, on track. Hmm. More start. Say questions from this. Look at this. 2014, question number 5. I have not fully taught this to you all, but based on what we learned, you can do. So forget about the market economy story. You all tell me, Lamai, personal income is determined by what? Your income, what did I tell you? Something multiplied by something is determined by government factor price policy and subsidies, factor price in the factor market and personal income tax, factor price in the factor market and the government wage policy, factor price in the factor market and the quantity exchanged at that price, property ownership and factor price in the factor market. Which one do you think is most correct? Your family's income depends on monad. There are two close answers. One is more correct. One, two, three, four, five. Personal income is based on around 60% of your are correct. 70% of your others. Look at whatever you wrote in the tune. What did I multiply by what? Your total factor income depends on what level? How much of factors of production you are exchanging and what is the price of that factor? So answer number 4. The other close answer is 5 level. Now 5 is saying factor or property ownership. So not just the property ownership or not just your factor ownership. Just owning the factor is not a thing. Now you have to exchange it. I own 10 buildings. But if I am not giving it on rent, I won't earn anything. So income will not just on the ownership. How much of it you actually give on rent? How much of it you actually exchange? That is what it depends. Not the others. Okay. Right. 5 is 4. Then mm, this one we can't do right now. We'll complete maybe towards the end. This one is a bit of a difficult part. Now, what about this? 2018 number 2. Which of the following is an example of land as a factor of production? Land can be natural, gifted by nature. Which one? Magampura Harbour, Southern Expressway, Victoria Dam, Ambevera Dairy Farm, and Pasikuda Beach. Which one is land? Completely natural, not made by man. Think. Not made by man. Most of you are correct. Some of you are making a careless mistake. Think. Which one is not made by man? Land means natural resources. Gifted by nature. Monaco. 95% of you are correct. Some of you are making a careless mistake. Which one? Answer number 5, right? The beach, Nilamai. Beach is the one that is natural. Some of you all gave me number four. Lamai, a farm, natural unicorn farm. We are the people who are making it. People are making. Some of you all gave me Victoria Dam. Dam is like people have built. They have blocked the river and built a huge thing, and people have built it. That's not natural. Can't be that. Then Harbour Expressway, where people have built. So natural, pass it to the beach. Beach is not made by people, It's just that. Hmm. Now, 2019 question number two. Can you give me an answer? It's an easy one. The income payments made to resource owners of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, respectively, are in order. What's the return for land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship? Interest, wages, rent, wages, dividends, interest, rent, profit, wages, interest. So look at the order now. It has been order respective. Land gunada, labor gunada, capital gunada, entrepreneurship gunada. Easy one, not that hard. So far, all of you are correct. What's the this? Others. No, right or wrong, give me an answer. I'm not going to remember your name, Lamai. I'm not going to judge you based on how this fellow got it wrong. Trust me, I don't remember who said what. Your answers are coming, just going, Lamai. I only see the last three messages. So when another person sends the answer, within 1 second, your answer is gone. So I will not remember your name. I will not judge you. I'm usually not a person who judges, Lamai. Don't worry at all. Now, so most of your I saw got it correct. What's the answer, Lamai? Number three, four, no? So land wealth rent, labor wealth wages, capital wealth interest, entrepreneurship wealth profits. Number four, not number two. Then, I mean, this one, how many of you all remember? Free goods. We did it last class now. Free goods are also called non-economic. A free good has which one of the following characteristics? If you all revise 10 game, you should be able to get. It has some degree of scarcity. It has no opportunity cost in supply. Consumption and production does not generate any externality. Supplied by the government free of charge. Supplied by the government because consumption is socially desirable. Free, non-economic. Think of the examples, you can get an answer. Most answers are correct. Some of them are wrong, but most of them are good. Which one? Free goods, non-economic, sunlight, rainwater, air. Which one? One, two, three, four, five. Number? Number two, right? It has no opportunity cost in supply. They are unlimited level. Is there an opportunity cost of making sunlight? Is there an opportunity cost for us to make oxygen? Those are freely available, unlimited terms now. So it's number. Then 2020 A levels question number two. 2019 question number two did we do? Four. What about this? Economists refer the term capital. What is capital now? Human-made goods. Human-made means man-made. Human-made goods which are used to produce other goods and services. Money used to purchase capital in the form of stocks and bonds. Savings accumulated by households to purchase capital. Money used by entrepreneur to purchase capital. Real estate, forest, metals, and mineral. What is capital now? How do you what is capital? One, two, three, four, five. Come on now, it's not hard. What is capital? Most of you are correct, some of you are wrong. It's capital. Capital is not money. So it can't be 2 and can't be 4 now. 2 and 4 is saying money in 11. Can't be 2 and 4. We told the capital is not money here. What is capital now? Capital is the man-made resources that are used in the production process, that are used to produce other goods. Like, for example, my laptop, man-made. I am now using this laptop to do this class. So that is capital, number one, not three or five. Level. Savings accumulated by households and say that is not what you call capital. Now, how are you calling my forest as capital? Some of you all told me number five. How is forest capital? Is a forest man-made? Natural. Trees. Then if you take mineral trees, how are these? Real estate, fine. Example for capital. Others? How are you saying forest or mineral trees? How are they man-made? So not this. So answer is number. Now I go with the most correct answer, I think. So when you're coming for answer, cut one by one. Don't just randomly pick one level. Narrow it down. So first cut the most obvious ones. Can't be this here. Narrow it down. That's how you answer MCQ level. So 2 is number 1. Then number 3. What about this? What is meant by the statement that every economic system faces the problem of scarcity? We have done that on 2 weeks ago. What does that mean? Every economic system faces the problem of scarcity. That means the quantity available of some resources in the society exceed the demand for them. Mineral deposits are available only in finite amounts. Countries have failed to achieve full employment. The productive resources are not sufficient to satisfy all the wants of an economy. Economic systems have cyclical recurring expansionary phases during which scarcity of resources occur. What does scarcity mean now? Think what and what combined gives you scarcity. And see if there's an answer somewhere around there. Most of you all are fine. Others. Scarcity says that your resources are limited compared to your unlimited wants. Compared to your unlimited wants, your resources are limited. That is what scarcity is saying. So which answer is talking about that? Number 4, no? The productive resources are not sufficient to satisfy all wants of the society. So 50 questions like this is what you will get in your A-level paper. 100 marks. Can do. Not hard. This is the first time that you all are learning and you're still getting most of it correct. Okay, so how did you all do now? I think we did around 5 or 6 MG. How much? Right now, from the ones that we did. We did 5. At least 3. You got all 5 correct. Perfect. At least 3. Now then, less than 3, you need to start. At least 3, you're somewhere there. Good. Okay. Right, so I will let it go from there. We did 6. I don't know how much we did. So we'll let it go from there. Now, the next topic is a new topic. 30 minutes is not enough for me to teach that. So we'll start that with our next class. Sometimes now I might not do the class next Saturday. I might have an extra class another day. I will let you know because I will be going abroad. Oops, sorry. I will be going abroad next Tuesday, depending on where I am at that time. If I can do the class, I can do the class not only at home, I can do it anywhere in the world. I will try and get it done. If not, I might move it around, but don't worry. Once the A-level batch is done, I'm very free. We will have a few extra sessions by the end of November and we will catch things up. Okay. Right. So with that, we'll call it off now. Reminder, if you have not yet paid your fees, please try and do that so that the tunes come on time. Because once I'm abroad, I will not be able to sort things out. Most likely going on Tuesday night. So ideally Monday, I will be sorting your tunes out. So the ones who are registering, try and do it by that time so that your tunes also come. Okay, so with that, I'll call it off. See you. Bye-bye.